TMNT's Multiverse. I'm your host, Tyrus, and I finally did it, folks. I finally did it. I broke down after, what, a month of should I not? Why shouldn't I do it? Why should I do it? But I really want it. Debate on whether I should get this 4-pack of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, folks. Again, I've been back and forth on why I shouldn't get this thing, because I have the movie Turtles. I have like the first movie Turtles that they released in those 2-packs. And then I have the Neca Toys animated series version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then I also have the Super 7 versions. I have a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, folks. So, I mean, this might be my last ride in terms of what I get in terms of Turtles, because I got a lot already. But I love them so much, folks. And again, this harkens back to back in the day when I first fell in love with the Turtles, and they were in the black and white comics, and they were very violent, folks. I mean, it was so weird seeing them in the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s animated series when they were like more happy-go-lucky. They had the different color bandanas, because in this one they had all the red bandanas, as we'll see. But back in these times, man, it was the Turtles were totally different. The tone was different in the comics, and I really liked that. I love the tone and everything. And then they got the colored comics, which was really good too, which we see right here. But those red turtles, man, the red bandana turtles was when I first fell in love with these guys. That's why I was like, okay, I gotta get these. And these turtles also remind me of really one of the best animated series ever, and that's that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon that was released back in 2003. And it is good, folks. If you have not checked that one out, check it out. It's like hands down one of the best animated series ever. But these turtles look like that. They just don't have the different color bandanas. So I might do a custom paint for these turtles to give them the kind of distinguish one from the other. But I'm excited about this, folks. I could not hold out any longer. I was in Target this morning, went in, and I went to Target maybe last week, and I saw this one long box on the shelf. And I did a YouTube short on this, and I was like, should I or should I not? And I was like, okay, I'll just wait. And if I do come back and it's there, then I'm gonna do it. And I was like, that's the bet I made to myself. If it's there when I come back next weekend, I'll think about it. Fast forward to today, Saturday. Hopefully, I don't know when this video will air, but fast forward to today, Saturday, and I walk in there Saturday morning, and the same box is sitting on the shelf, and I'm like, okay, all right, let me just go on and do it. Then I saw this guy on the shelf as well, and I was like, okay. I'm just gonna go for broke, man. I'm gonna go on and get this guy too. So I'm going all in. So I got this shredder to go with the turtles as well. So I'm excited about this, is with the shredder and everything. So now I'm gonna have to get the Foot Clan member. I'm gonna have to maybe get Casey Jones, and also I think there's a Splinter out there that fits along with this wave as well. So all right, so let's take a look at the turtles here. Drop this down, and we have the 4 brothers here rocking the red bandanas. We have the accessories and everything. And man, I tell you, this looks pretty cool, folks. So we got the 4 turtles. We got some hands. We got some swappable arms, it seems. We have some accessories. We got the shredder. And now let's take a look at the back of this box here while we're at it. So we got this here. We have the turtles on the back. We have Donatello. Seems like that's Raphael. I don't know who that is. That could be anybody, y'all, because they all look the same. This is pretty much the Raphael 4-pack. But we have all the turtles here. You know, got Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, and Michelangelo. And on the bottom here, we have the other characters that I'm going to have to go out and get now, because I feel like I need to complete the collection. So we have Foot Clan's member. We have another Foot Clan. We have Splinter. We have the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't know his name. I've seen him in Second and Charles. And then we have Casey Jones. And we also have Shredder again here. So got these to be continued for when I'll find all of these characters. We'll see. But we got the turtles here. We got them in action. We got them ready to go, folks. We got Shredder. Now I'm going to stop babbling. We're going to get these guys out the package, and we're going to take a closer look. All right? Let's get to it. Let's go. All right, before we get into the figures, gotta give a huge shout out to Neca Toys for this wonderful image here of all 4 turtles. What seems to be the shredder here in flames floating away into the distance. They have his helmet here on. This is Leonardo's sword, so this is pretty cool. So this is after they've beaten him in the story. But man, I tell you, this just harkens back to all the hours I spent reading the comics and then drawing the turtles for hours and hours at a time, man. I fell in love with the turtles from then, way back then, and still love them to this day. And this image is truly symbolic of that. So just wanted to show this off here. Now we're gonna get on to the next segment. All right, let's get to it. All right, folks, I have the turtles out of the packaging, and man, I gotta tell you, they had these guys tied down pretty good. So it took me some time to get them out of the packaging. But they're here, and they come with a number of cool accessories. You know, we have the vintage weapons that are to go with each turtle. Now, although each turtle pretty much looks kind of sort of the same, they're sporting different facial expressions, as you can see here. And they're of course, they're all rocking the red bandana. But you could tell, like, Leo, this will be Leo because he has the katana sheaths in the back. So, you know this will be Leonardo right here. Now, the others are pretty much up in the air, but what I did was I just matched them according to where their weapons were positioned in the packaging. And also, you can use for reference material, I mean, you can look at the back here, and then you can match up the turtles with the weapons and everything. So you see that this is Raphael. Now, I don't know if this fits Raphael. I feel like Raphael and Michelangelo need to be swapped. And I say that because there's a lot of damage here to Michelangelo. And Raphael doesn't have that much damage. You know, Raphael, he's reckless. He's real reckless, very abrasive. You know, he has a short temper. You know, he's always ready to jump into battle. You know, Michelangelo, he just wants to eat pizza and ride a skateboard, watch cartoons, have fun, but he'll still kick some butt when he needs to. But I think this needs to be swapped. I think I'll use this as Raphael and this as Michelangelo, even though on the packaging here, they have this as Raphael with the less damaged shell, and the most damage they have as Michelangelo. So I don't know. I mean, you have to do what you feel you want to do. But I think I'm going to use this as Raphael and Michelangelo, right? Do it like that. But I tell you, man, I love the overall design of these figures, man, and the scope, the detail of the figures as a whole. It truly harkens back to that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series that I was talking about. That is hands down one of the best cartoon series ever. But I just love the bulkiness and the muscle structure of these turtles here. I mean, it really gives them just kind of a different look than any of the turtles that I do have in my collection. So that's one of the things that really stand out to me. Now, the first thing that stands out to me with these turtles is the use of color. I love this hue of green. That's the thing that draw me in, along with the love I have for the Eastman and Lord comics, is just this green, man. This green really pops, and I like that. And it's gonna really show out on my shelf. I love the red bandanas. The hue of red really blends well with that green. Then we have that cartoon animated, kind of like that sketchy artwork that designs out the rest of the figure here with the detail of the muscles and everything. So I like the little sketchy outlining throughout the figures, kind of give it that comic book feel, that comic book look overall. And again, that's another thing that just really shoots out to me when you talk about these figures. So I like this, folks. This looks awesome. Again, I'm going to use this as Raphael. Now, I really wish they would have added the little side sheaths here, but I don't think he had those in the Eastman and Lord comics. I think all he did was he just stick them in his little front area here, and he was good to go. So, I'm going to use this as Raphael. But, man, I just love this little sketchy little artwork that they have on the figures throughout. Here, they handled the shell very well. Here, you got a little tail here at the bottom. So I love it, man. And you got the calves. You got those big strong, muscular calves here. So they did a lot of work in the gym here with the legs and everything. I love that. They have the little pads here for the knees. So we have the brown pads, the brown belt, and everything. Yet we have the red bandana. And man, I love this, folks. Now I will say this: I'm gonna give the bandanas a custom paint. I'm gonna do that, so I can you can distinguish the turtles between, amongst one another, more easily with the colored bandana. So I might do that at some point. Who knows? I might leave it like this. Who knows? We'll see how I feel. But I'm very tempted to give the bandanas a custom paint. So stay tuned for that. If I do it, I post it on Instagram as well as Twitter. But man, this looks really good. All of the designs and the colors for the weapons, they handle very well here. It's kind of like I want to say it's like an off-white with a hint of blue with it as well. And then here we have Donatello's bow staff. And again, I just love the comic book element and the designs for these weapons as well as the figures here, man. So I love this. This looks awesome. This is right up my alley. I'm glad I did this. I was really on the fence with it all. But we have Raphael. Gonna take a look and put him over here. And then we're gonna just take a look at everybody up close. Of course, we looked at Leonardo here, the leader. This looks awesome here. He has this little but he has this katana sheaths. So they would go in like this. So this is pretty cool. So we got that. Maybe the other way around. This one, there we go. So we got that. That looks really good. So we have Leonardo. We have Raphael. And then we have also Donatello. I'm going to use this as Donatello. He has a bit of a... Actually, no, this is... I'm mixing it up already, y'all. So, wait a minute. So, this is Donatello. He has the little... doesn't have an expression to him, but it's pretty cool. He's the smartest out of the turtles, and he's the gadget tech guy. So, I like that. So, we have Donatello. Now, you can also distinguish Donatello from the others because he does have the bow staff sheath here on the back. So he has that. So you know who Leo is. You know who Donatello is. It's just Raphael and Michelangelo. You have to decide which one you want to use out of these two. But we do know who Leonardo and Donatello will be out of this bunch. But this looks good, folks. All the designs are pretty much the same, aside from the amount of detail on the shells. They handled that very well. Again, I'm just in love with the sketchy art style that's based within these figures. I just like that, folks. It really speaks to me as a lover of the turtles and a lover of art, So I like this, folks. But yeah, this looks great here. I'm excited about this, y'all. Can barely talk right now because I'm so excited. I can't believe I went in on this because I did not expect to get this here. But I was like, you know what? I gotta do it. So here we go. So we got Donatello with his bow staff here. And that's how that works with the little bow staff sheath area, if that's the right terminology for it. So we got Donatello with his weapon. And we have, again, the pizza eating, the skateboarding, the rock and roll, whatever it is, happy-go-lucky Michelangelo here. This really goes with Michelangelo. I think the Neca, the people at Neca made a mistake when they did the promo art. I think this really fits Michelangelo. He has a little smile to him, less damage on the shell. Again, this guy is always partying. He's the party dude. He's the pizza guy. He's the skateboarder. I love all of them skateboarders, but he's a fun guy. Now, with the accessories in terms of Michelangelo, he does come with his vintage nunchucks. So we're going to place the nunchucks here in his hands. We'll do it like this. There we go. We'll do it like this. At least for right now. All right, so we have Michelangelo who dropped his nunchucks. In terms of articulation, you're not going to get... Well, actually, I stand corrected. So you can go all the way around with that articulation-wise. Very impressed with that. The arms kind of go about out to here. So the NECA toys, when you're dealing with NECA figures, their articulation is not going to be the greatest. I think you get enough with them. Legs kind of go like this here. You can do the splits very well. So the splits, let's kind of move the brothers back a little bit so we can see what he can do splits wise. So, splits wise, he can kind of go out to here. which is really good. The articulation is actually very impressive when you're doing the splits here. In terms of the knee, you can go back like this. In terms of the foot area, really tight. You can only go so much up and down. But again, man, Neca toys, their figures are not going to be the most articulated, though you're going to get a lot in terms of what they bring to the table aesthetically. And that's what these figures shine. They shine aesthetically. These figures look magnificent, folks. I love them, and I'm so happy that I have these. You know, and again, I just love this green. And I will say this is my most favorite turtles. I really, out of the ones I do have, I like these. I like the little cartoon. I have a bit of a cartoon yet comic book element as well. It has a mixture of the two. And we also have a number of swappable hands. So we have all these swappable hands. We have a swappable fist here for the turtles. We have another outstretched hand, another gripping hand for the turtles. And we also have I guess a karate chop hand. So we got that. And we have more accessories, as I mentioned at the top. We have this swappable arm, which is pretty interesting. Not sure why we have that, but we do. So we have a swappable arm for our turtles. All right, one of the other things I like about this 4-pack here, one of the many things I like about this 4-pack is this item right here. I like this, folks. This is some sort of a hooded clothing item that you can place to any of the turtles, but I feel like this is made for Raphael. This is made for him, but overall, this adds to the personality of the turtles, any turtle that you put it to. But I like the textured detail that's applied to this item, man. Very impressed with that. This is decked out in all a brown paint deco overall, but I love the texture here throughout, and the design here. Again, you get that little comic book look and design to it. I love the little black sketchy lines that's applied throughout. Again, it just harkens back to those comics, and it really tugs at my heartstrings. But again, I feel like this is made for Raphael. So we're gonna put this to my main man, Ralph. And but you can put it to any turtle, but you would just kind of slide it. I'm thinking like this, and you are good to go. Oh, I like this, and I love how it goes over the eyes and everything to give them that element of mystery overall. But I like this right here, and I'm tempted to leave it like this, but I want everybody to kind of look not the same, but not to have this on. But this gives him a whole another dimension overall. I like this, folks. This is so cool. You can kind of place this up a bit so you can see the eyes, but this looks awesome, folks. So again, this really adds to the figure overall. So we have this little hooded item. We also have some throwing stars, folks. So we have these throwing stars. Again, it's decked out, and it's kind of like off-white with a hint of blue, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all know I'm awful with colors dye, but yeah, this looks really good. So you can throw this with any, or you can put this with any of the turtles here. So we have the throwing stars. All right, so we have one more item here with the turtles, and that is the bandana ends that we can swap out for our heroes and the half shells. Now, these are decked out in all red, and as you can see, we have the little hash marks to represent the sketching from the comics. That's here as well, so I like that. Again, I just love the nod to the comics with the overall designs of the figures as well as the accessories. But you can apply any of the 4, bandana ends to the turtles. I think these are like just a regular outstretched bandana ends. So let's kind of swap this one out with, I anticipate these will pull out. Does it pull out? No. Yep, they do. All right, so I was like, I want to break this thing. All right, so you just plug this in to here. I guess this shoots, this kind of, there you go. It goes up as opposed to laid down. So you got 2 different styles with the bandanas that they give you as well. And again, this gives the turtles a different element, a different look overall. It really, again, it adds personality to the characters when you have stuff like this to the figures. This gives you a lot of versatility in terms of having some of the turtles with the bandana down, or having some of the turtles with the bandana flowing in the wind, or you can have them all flowing into the wind, because in the cartoon, man, you see all of them on top of the building and the bandana's flowing up and everything. So that's pretty cool, folks. Now, again, Very impressed with it overall. This tugs at my heartstrings. This has to be, I want to say, my most favorite Turtles, folks. I mean, and I have some really great Turtles. Very happy that I have this, folks. And now we're going to head on and take a look at the shredder, all right? Let's get to it. All right, folks, up next we have the shredder. And okay, so looking at the figure from inside the package, he looked great. And I will say that it did capture the kind of like the comic book look for this figure here. They did capture that overall. However, this is just not a good figure. I mean, it's just the most, this has to be one of the most disappointing figures that I've ever had here on the channel. I mean, it just seems so dated. This is like this is something that you would get maybe like 30 years ago. He's super thin. I mean, you would think that Neca Toys would give you something a little better than this. Now, like I said, again, when you see it in package, you go, okay, cool, he looks good. And again, they captured, like I said, that comic book look that they had from that Mirage run with the Turtles. However, it's just like he is just so thin, folks. And for the price point that they're selling this figure at, it just it does not add up. It just does not, hit for me as a collector. For those of you who like this figure, no disrespect, it's just for me in my eyes, this is just not a good figure here. Articulation is super limited, and I understand that NECA Toys, their figures are not the most articulated, but it's just, I mean, he legs and everything are pretty cool, arms are limited, but my thing is just, you know, as a whole, this figure just looks so, it just feels dated. That's the best way I can just describe my feeling. This is something I feel, again, that you would get 30 years ago. Back maybe 99, 2000 or whatever. It just seems like it's way out of time. I don't know what they were thinking. He just seems super thin. This figure is $36. Um, this was more of an impulse buy for me in terms of he looked good in package, and I figured, man, since I'm getting the Turtles, why not get this guy? And as you see, I have him on a display stand because he has issues standing. So I mean, it's like maybe I'm not doing something right, but I mean, he does not stand well. So it's just like he does not stand well. He looks super thin and just does not, hit for me for the price point that they're selling this guy for. He's just not worth it to me. Now, he does come with 4 sets of swappable hands. So we'll look at that. So he has these hands here that you can swap out for him. Some weapon holding hands. He does have that. He has these as well. All right. So he has this set of hands, and he has this one as well. So he has this another kind of like a weapon holding hand. And then here we have a swappable head for the Shredder. And again, I feel like they captured the look from the comics. They did a good job with this. It's just the figure as a whole, it just does not, it's not there. It's just not there at all. Again, man, this is something you get maybe like in 1998 or something like that. I don't know what they was thinking with this right here, folks. And then up next, we have this forearm attachment for the Shredder that you could place some way, somehow. I guess you would take this off. It feels like this figure feels like it's just ready to like break. It's just like, because the NECA figures are just so, you have to really be careful. They're easy to break. They're easy to not work like you want them to at times. So I don't know how this works, folks. I mean, I apologize, but this figure it leaves a lot to be desired for me. So I don't know. I've not seen any other reviews on this figure here, so I'm not sure exactly how this goes. There are no instructions. This seems like you would tear this out, so I don't want to do that. So I don't know how this works or how this is supposed to go. If you know, let me know in the comments. But they have this little forearm swap out here for the Shredder. I don't know if this may be just for aesthetically for him to have with him. Who knows? And then last but not least, we have this canister here. Get him to stand. Last but not least, we have this canister here that is packaged with the shredder as well. I don't know if this is a mutagen canister or maybe something else that he has here. But yeah, I can't remember what this was in the comics, but we have that. So overall, I can't recommend this figure, folks. If for those of you who like this figure here, to each is their own. This just does not, do it for me. All right, folks. Let's get on to the next. Now, this comparison had to happen since the Batman and the Turtles are always or seem to always be crossing over in the comics as well as in that awesome animated movie that they were featured in some time ago. It's so good, folks. If you have not checked out Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie, check it out. It is really good. But here alongside our NECA Toys Mirage Turtles, I have the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Hush Batman. And here is yet another character that I feel really goes well with the Turtles, and that is the Jada Toys Ryu Street Fighter action figure. All right, let's get on to the next. And here, as you can see, I have also more NECA Toys TMNT action coming your way in the form of the Turtles in Disguise 4-pack. No, I have not taken these out of the packaging just yet, folks. My man cave is under construction. I'm trying to get some things set up. Not sure if I even want to open this and take this out of packaging. I don't know. I know I'm going to do it at some point, folks. I have to do it. But I'm loving these Mirage Turtles. So I have the NECA Mirage versus or with my cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And with that being said, we're going to head on to the next segment. And here for a final comparison, I have alongside our new Mirage Turtles, I have the Mirage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder that we just looked at. And aesthetically, they look all pretty good together. It's just this Shredder, this Shredder leaves a lot to be desired, man. All right, folks, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed this review. I know I did. I mean, this was a wonderful surprise. I am so glad that I did not pass up on these turtles anymore. I mean, I lucked out, seeing them in the store one time, passed up on them, and it was just a one package with these turtles. And I was like, okay, if I come back and they're there, I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I'm glad that I did, folks, because these have turned out to be my most favorite turtles. They're near and dear to my heart. I mean, they just harken back to the days of reading those black and white comics. All in all, really happy with these turtles. The Shredder could have been better. But, man, I tell you, I can't say enough about the heroes and the half shells. It just hits me to my heart just looking at these turtles and the things that you can do with them aesthetically with the weapons and the various accessories. They really did a great job. So hats off to NECA Toys. But again, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to comment below. Let me know, what do you think about these NECA Mirage Turtles? Are you loving them? Are you all in? Are you on the fence? Or is this a hard pass for you? Did you get this Shredder? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Let me know what you think about this, folks. I'm interested to see what you got to say. Also, don't forget to ring that bell for all notifications so that you get each and every one of my content pieces as it drops. And also, don't forget to what? Yep, like, share, and subscribe. If you've done that already, I truly appreciate it. And again, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, be good to one another. Be safe. Stay tuned. And you know I got to say it, folks. You just know I got to do it. Cowabunga. Until next time, folks.